Hi guys, it's Danny the Traveler with Rocky the Traveler, of course, and we're here in beautiful Florida, and we brought the British weather with us. We're here on the outskirts of Castillo de San Marcos in St. Augustine, Florida, and we're gonna explore a little bit of Colonial Florida. So let's check it out. The castle is a national monument in the US and is a focal point of historic St. Augustine. Though me and Rocky have visited various castles in Europe, this is the first one in America that we've been to, and it's one of the youngest castles that we visited at just over 315 years old. Located on the Atlantic coast, the castle is a large Spanish stone fortress that was built to protect and defend Spain's claims in the New World. Though dogs are not actually allowed inside of the castle, it's still large enough that we can definitely still see some cool stuff by just exploring outside of the castle, including some cannons. Rocky clearly loved rolling around in the Florida sand and taking in sights from the castle, which, by the way, has some of the coolest views of the Atlantic coast. On the outside of the castle, you can check out the furnaces that were used to heat the cannonballs, which would then fire at enemy ships. Now, this castle has quite a bit of history and has been involved in the Seminole Wars during the mid-1800s and the American Civil War. The entire park has an area of over 20 acres to walk around in, so needless to say, it was a pretty good exercise for me and Rocky, and I would definitely recommend taking your dog for a walk here. Now, we spent a lot of time walking around the castle, and maybe next time I'll show you guys the inside of it, but for now, let's take a walk with Rocky through the streets of Colonial Florida. Our journey here was like taking a trip back in time and experiencing a few centuries of historic Florida. We were pretty blown away by the architecture, and for me it was a bit like going back to Europe. And we saw all these shops residing inside of these historic buildings. And just like Europe, we found out that historic St. Augustine is quite dog friendly, as we were able to enter quite a few shops with him. Now, even though the weather was pretty great, there were still tons of tourists exploring downtown St. Augustine, just like we were. And you can't blame them, there's tons to do and see around here. At one point, we stopped by one of the coolest looking Ben & Jerry shops I'd ever seen. I ended up getting Rocky Road ice cream, no pun intended, but of course, I couldn't share it with Rocky. Trekked on to see some more of the historic city and to see some of the Spanish influence over the buildings. I felt so removed from modern Florida visiting over here, and part of me wishes I had more time to see everything. Afterward, we took an unplanned tour inside of Flagler College. Now, the college was founded in 1968, but before it was a college, it was known as Hotel Ponce de Leon, and it's easy to still see the Spanish Renaissance architecture present throughout the college. After our little tour, we grabbed some food, ready to hit the road for our next Florida adventure. Thanks guys for watching as we explored America's oldest city, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Rocky Road Show.